episode of the award-winning podcast, The Square and the Round. Chris Kelly here. I'm Square. There's BB Shea. He's Round.
What's up?
You're going to be proud of me.
Am I?
You are. I don't know if you know. How many, next week when we do this,
yes.
we'll drop our big Oscar episode.
That's
correct?
right. Yeah.
You've seen all 10 movies.
I've seen them all. And last time we spoke, you had seen 3?
3. But what did I pledge to you?
You said you were going to watch them all.
I vowed I would watch them
And I did not believe
all,
you.
And you said, no chance. And, of course, what was I thinking in my head? He's right.
Yeah, no way.
I will not see those, obviously.
Yeah.
Because I don't have time.
That's right. Yeah, you're a busy guy.
I had, 8 days before the Oscars or whatever. Yeah. Well, Friday, I saw, what did I say? American Fiction.
Okay.
Saturday, I saw Barbie and Oppenheimer.
Wow.
And Sunday, I saw Zone of Interest. Now, for the most part, these are movies no one will see.
Exactly.
Except for Barbie and Oppenheimer. Yeah. And but I'm vowing to you, so I only have 3 left.
So, did you stream all of these?
Yep.
Did you have to pay for any of them?
I did have to pay for almost all of them.
Okay. Yeah, because those were, I know, American Fiction and Zone of Interest. I don't think those were streaming anywhere for free.
They're streaming, but not free. Very few of these are free. But I justified it. My wife sort of took this she's wanting to watch them also.
Yeah.
And so, Zone of Interest cost me $15.99, but if we go to the theater to see it, it's $20.
About that, yeah.
So
yeah.
it's like, all right, we're saving money, but we had to buy it. We couldn't even, some of these you can't even
rent it. Oh, so you had to buy it.
In 2 cases, I think it was, I forget which 2, but I think it was Zone of Interest and American Fiction. You could not rent it. You had to buy it.
Wow.
I know.
Okay.
I know. Now, Oppenheimer, I rented.
Okay.
I could rent that. I couldn't watch that one for free. The Barbie was on HBO Max.
Oppenheimer's not streaming anywhere.
Maybe on Peacock, but we don't have Peacock.
Okay, fair enough.
I think it's on Peacock, but so I had to buy it for $5.99. But again, if we go to see it in the theater,
it's going to cost as much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Barbie, I have to say.
It's a fun movie.
I tried to go in. I hate watched it because of you. I'm like, I'm not going to like anything he likes. No way. But I enjoyed that movie.
It turned out to be fun. Is that the best one that you saw this weekend?
No. My favorite this weekend was American Fiction, without question. Loved it. Nobody's going to see it?
No.
The plot of it, and of course we'll cover this on our Oscar special next week, but the plot of it is a guy who's a really good writer, you know this.
Yeah.
Sold a few books and had was a professor in college, but mostly people were ignoring his books. And he's black. Yeah. And somebody writes a book that is called, Weesby in the Ghetto? Weesby living in the Ghetto.
And this guy is what we would call, he's like a literary hardo. Yeah. He's like, I believe in real literature.
Yeah. And I loved it because then he writes a book as a joke that's like, playing to everything you would think of a stereotypical black novelist who's like trying to live hard in the ghetto. And but he's not any of that. Yeah. And he does the novel, and it takes off and becomes this huge #1 bestseller. And he can't even admit he wrote it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he did it under a pseudonym.
He has to be a completely different person.
I love it. It left me guessing at the end, and I really, really liked it a lot.
Yeah, the end was kind of interesting, the way it kind of played out.
Yeah, but I looked at it, I thought, I enjoy that ending. I thought they did a nice
I know we're going
job.
to get into it more, and I really want to have this conversation with you about Zone of Interest.
Yes, Zone of Interest.
What were your thoughts, without getting too deep into it? Did you enjoy it?
No, I did not. Okay. That's the one I didn't like.
Okay, I got you.
I didn't like that because a lot of it I didn't understand. I mean, some of this I get. Zone of Interest is about Nazi Germany in the World War II, and a Nazi is like living in a little house with his family, and they have a beautiful yard and neighborhood. Right next door is the concentration camp.
Of course.
Which I get that. That's a great concept to me, and I think it's probably true that this really happened. But the way they told, I just was bored to tears.
Yeah, it's one of those movies that idea is supposed to carry the entire movie without really anything happening. You know what I mean?
That's the problem. Yeah. I mean, it carried 15 minutes. It's like, wow. But then after a while, I'm just like, okay, enough of this.
It had some pretty poignant moments. You really makes you sit there and think.
Yeah, of course.
But that was about it.
Of course. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And here's another thing. Again, Oppenheimer I really enjoyed, like most people. One thing I took away from Oppenheimer that I don't know many people talk about is there's a scene where the war, this is about dropping the bomb on Japan in 1945, and there's a scene where the Secretary of War says, well, we've got 12 Japanese cities here that we can drop the bomb on, and I'm taking Kyoto off the list because it's a beautiful little place, and my wife and I have vacation there, honeymooned there, so we're not going to do that one. And I thought, if that's true, boy, you're really playing God there, aren't you?
Isn't that funny?
Yeah,
well, not funny, but isn't that interesting?
He decides which people, which families are going to be destroyed, whether it be Tokyo or Kyoto or Nagasaki or Hiroshima, which those two were.
Now it's clear that I'm not a historian by any stretch, but the scene with Gary Oldman where he played the president.
Yes, Harry Truman.
That was the best scene of the entire movie.
You thought so?
That was so funny to me. He basically called in Oppenheimer. He's like, quit being a bitch. And suck it up.
Do you think he really said that?
I would not be surprised.
Because Oppenheimer.
I would not be surprised.
So Oppenheimer develops the bomb. Truman, of course, drops the bomb, says to do it. And so he calls Oppenheimer to the Oval Office to basically congratulate him. Like, hey, we got this done. And Oppenheimer's like, oh, my God, it's such a weight on my mind because we've killed all these people. And Truman's like, yeah, but we ended the war. And when he got up, he's like, don't that little crybaby bitch. He's never coming back in my office.
He's like, I dropped the bomb.
Yeah, dude. He's like, you didn't. Nobody cares who made the bomb. I dropped the bomb. And get out of my office. And you're a crybaby little sniveling worm.
That was so funny to me. I loved it.
I don't know that really happened.
I hope it did. A little part of me wishes that it did.
You hope it did.
Just because.
I don't think a president would say that. He might have said it after the fact.
I think he might have.
You do.
I think he might have. What 3 do you have left to do? Maestro?
Yeah. That's available on Netflix, I believe. So I'm going to try to watch that this week.
Killers of the Flower Moon.
I'm going to have to take that in a 2-parter. It's 3.5 hours.
I know, you got a big week to go.
And Poor Things.
Wow, you have a big week to go.
Yeah,
you made a good dent, but you've got some.
I did. I had 7 to go. I took out 4.
Yeah.
And I've got a whole week. I'm going to try to do Maestro today or tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then, one by like Thursday, and then over the weekend, the Killers of the Flower Moon will be last.
Yeah. No, Maestro's easy to get through. Poor Things is a little lengthy, but Killers of the Flower Moon is, that's the one. That's
those
the heavy
long
hitter.
movies, man. I mean, Oppenheimer, I really liked.
Yeah.
It was 3 hours. I think they could have done it in 2.5.
Yeah, you're right.
It's like, come on. And But sometimes, of course, I'm on my couch. But I feel my mind wandering during those.
I know. I'm in the same. It is so tempting to pick up your phone and start doing stuff. So.
Exactly. So it's like, my gosh, because that movie is so wordy and thick. I mean, it's just a lot of dialogue.
Yeah.
Now, I thought the lead, that Cillian Murphy, was incredible.
He was great. Yes.
He was
Robert Downey Jr. was amazing.
Really good.
The whole cast really did well.
Well done. And at first, I thought it really moved fast because it was quick paced, and I liked Oppenheimer. And I like the scenes with Einstein. I love the ending. I love the ending.
Yes. It
was a very good movie.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this about movies. I read some list about and you're not going to like this, but the movie prop, that if you could have the original prop of a movie. Number one, you'll never get into because you told me you don't like this movie.
Yeah.
But the Star Wars lightsaber, like the original lightsaber held by Han Solo Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
Or even Darth Vader would be something really cool. What prop would you like from a movie? Here are some more that people loved. The DeLorean from Back to the Future. One of the wands from Harry Potter. The blue or red pill from The Matrix.
That would be fun.
Mm-hmm. The volleyball Wilson.
Is that still out there, do you think? It's got to be, yeah.
Probably. It's probably in some
museum somewhere, maybe. Or I bet Tom Hanks has it.
You might. I bet they went through several, don't you think?
Or Robert Zemeckis, whoever directed that. One thing that I really want, I've thought about this, is the everlasting gobstopper from the original Willy Wonka or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Well, that's up there. The golden ticket. The golden ticket.
I want the everlasting gobstopper. That's what I want.
I don't know that reference. I have never seen it.
Really?
Yeah.
You never saw the Gene Wilder, the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory?
Never seen any of it.
Okay.
Never seen one iteration of that movie.
Okay.
My kids have seen it. You like it? Obviously.
The original's amazing.
Yeah.
The newest one that just came out, I haven't seen it, so I can't speak on it. I just know that it sucks. But the one that Johnny Depp did was okay.
Right.
But the original was so good.
Would you like the leg lamp from A Christmas Story?
See, that's just
don't like that movie, though.
Yeah, that's just been so done. I know somebody who has one.
Oh, I have one.
Yeah, I mean that's just such a.
But of course, it's a knockoff. It is the original. McLovin's driver license from Superbad.
That's another one that you can buy.
Can you really?
You can buy that online. Yeah, that's funny.
But these are the originals.
Yeah, the original will be cool.
The flying bike from E.T.
maybe.
Well, here, the Great Bambino's Baseball from The Sandlot.
Yes, that would be great.
You love that movie. The Mask, Hannibal's Mask from Silence of the Lambs.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
What about like the Ark? What's he get in the Raiders of the Lost Ark?
Oh, the Covenant of the Ark?
Yeah,
or whatever
the Covenant of the Ark. That would be pretty fun
the
to
idol,
have.
whatever it is. That's cool. Yeah,
or his cool.
How about his whip or his hat?
That would be
Raiders
cool.
of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
Those are good for those things. Well, of course, I like Shawshank Redemption, but I'm not sure of the Bible from Shawshank Redemption.
Maybe, or like one of the jumpsuits or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Those are my movies. Fugitive, I love, but there's not much to it. His prison uniform or something like that. Those are all good. Yeah. But I know what a movie person you are, so I knew you would like those. I knew that you'd like those a lot. So you're proud of me for doing that.
I am. You got 4 knocked out, man. I know. I had a busy weekend myself.
Well, what did you do?
My grandmother's getting kicked out of her assisted living facility.
Why?
Because she's a menace, dude. Like,
what do you mean?
Like she's so much of an issue to them that like they're kicking her out.
Really?
Yes.
So where's she going to go?
I don't know. I don't know
God.
yet.
How long do you have?
They're giving us like 30 days to find a new place for her.
Sure. We have a friend who's not 30 days. I'm sitting there.
Is he in the same
friend
boat?
Biggie, he's in the same boat. She should move in with him.
Hey,
or they should.
You got an extra room.
You should split a place. He's just sitting back there. You should split a place.
Yes.
Well, how old does she have? Like a dementia?
She's getting into it. She's like kind of going slowly. Yeah. She's like 84. Mm-hmm. But here's the problem. She was married to my grandpa for like 57 years.
Yeah.
He died 10 years ago. She lived on her own for a bit. Then we put her in an assisted living facility.
Yeah.
That was her first time being single around a bunch of other single guys. So she was going through her hoe phase.
Did she really?
At an assisted living facility.
Older people do that.
That's wild. And like my entire life, she had never ever talked about like sex, relationships, or anything like that. Then she gets there and she's like in college for the first time.
Wow.
That's all she talks about is the dudes that she's messing around with in this assisted living facility.
That is so gross.
It is gross. Tell me about
terrible?
It. And I'm trying to like listen to her and be like, yeah, that's
so
awesome.
Those old people are really doing that.
They're really doing it, dude.
Well, they get chlamydia and stuff.
Yeah, well, I don't think that's happened to her.
My God.
Not that I've heard of. So
my mother-in-law was in an assisted living facility.
Yeah.
And she had some dementia issues. By the end, quite a few. And at one point, we got a call. She had left the property, and we found her like a mile or two away. We're just walking down a busy road.
Yeah.
And so we were like, why did you? She said, I'm going to go for a walk. I mean, she had been in for like a year, and she thought she could. And they were like, okay. And she did. And they're like, well, we can't stop her. If she wants to go, she can go.
Yeah.
And I was like, you can't stop her. What are you talking about? But they couldn't.
Well, that's the type of place that she's in where, like, people come and go.
It's voluntary.
There are people of sound mind in there who drive and do that stuff. Man. And that's what we're afraid of is she's going to get out there one day and, like, not come back.
Yeah, right.
So,
scary.
The place was like,
You know another thing? My father was in an assisted living place, my mother-in-law.
Yeah.
And so often, like, especially with my father, now, he had terrible dementia by the end. And for several times there, for every other day, they were like, well, we need you, he's really agitated. We need you to talk to him. And it's like, well, but he's there so you can deal with it.
That's kind of your situation, right?
That's what I thought. I mean, I didn't want to be a bad son, but I was 40 miles away.
Yeah.
And I'd go see him once a week and spend an hour with him. But then, he would have these problems. He would be like, I want to go home, obviously. Yeah. And they would say, you need to deal with him. And I was like, well, you deal with him.
That's what I'm paying you to do, right?
I mean, you think, but God, what a terrible place to work or be.
Like your father, my grandmother's issue is that her dementia is like arrogant.
Oh, really?
You know what I'm saying? Like she'll say something that's not true and then we'll correct her and then she'll be like, you're stupid for thinking that.
Oh, no.
Which is so annoying to me.
Well, my father, to me and to my sister and everybody he knew, he was great. He would just say the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
And you could say, like, whatever you said. And my father, this was really bad. And we had to put him into a facility after a while because he would go out and buy like 2-liter Cokes every day, multiple times a day. He was driving. Now, he would drive, but only he'd go to a curb market and buy them. And it was like, or a little convenience store. And it would be like, I mean, I found when we wound up like cleaning out the house after we moved him into the facility, 100 bottles of Coke,
Really?
Or it wasn't even good soda. It was like Stars and Stripes soda, generic soda. And he did that and like pickles, like jars of pickles. And we found 100 jars of pickles. And I thought, do you think it's right for the convenience store? I mean, he's just coming in there buying
exactly, yeah. Like clearly, this guy drinks an entire 2 liter of soda a day.
I mean, but it's not their job, I guess, to police
exactly.
that.
They're making money.
But I would tell him, like, don't buy any more drinks. But of course, he would forget.
Of course.
But he was really nice. He would just say the same thing over and over again until he got to the facility, and then he was like, "Well, I'm leaving. I'm going home." And they had to try to stop him, and then they'd call me, and I'd be like, "Well, that's why he's there."
That's my grandmother's thing now. She hasn't driven in like 4 years, so she'll call my mom and be like, "Where's my car?" Like, you don't have a car. She goes, I do have a car. What are you talking about? And then that just turns into a whole deal.
It's an awful. Now, I want to live to be 110. You know that.
Yeah.
But I don't want to ever be in that shape. I don't, that is really hard. And I'll tell you something else. People, this without fail, my parents said it when my grandmother, this was years ago, went into a nursing home. They said, listen, if I ever get in that shape, just shoot me or slip me something. Yeah. Well, ha, ha, ha. You can't do that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Then now... My father, a few years ago, goes in there. My sister says to me, if I ever get in that shape, just shoot me. I can't do it.
Could you
it's an awful aging, and especially if dementia is an awful, awful thing.
Is that something you can like write out when you are in sound mind to like, hey, listen, if I get to the point where I'm in a vegetative state or whatever, like you can pull the plug and kill me.
You can if you're in a coma or something, you can do that. No life-saving measures.
Yeah.
Like pull the plug and that's it. But I don't think you can. Like my father, his quality of life was so bad because he had no cognitive ability there for the last few years. Yeah. And so it's like, but you can't do anything. I mean, he's still walking around and breathing and eating lunch.
But like if you're in a coma or like you can't move, only thing you have is like brain function.
Then you can.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay, I got you.
I mean, you give somebody power of attorney to do that. But otherwise, you can't do. I mean, it's just a terrible existence. It's a terrible existence, unfortunately.
And you don't want anybody to go through that.
And you're a burden on, you would never want to be, but you're a burden on everybody, your kids.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate, but you just are. Now, my children better take care of me. My children. I mean, I've done so much for them. My God, they better remember that.
Well, here's the thing, though. You're eating so well. You're getting taken care of now.
I would hope.
You're exercising.
Wouldn't you think?
You're not enjoying life right now.
No,
so that when you're 110, you can enjoy life.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, life's going to suck now, and it's going to suck then.
That's my thing. I want to pay for it now. I want to get the suck out of the way so I can enjoy later.
Exactly.
But they better take care of me. Yes, nursing home, retirement home, and they've gotten a lot better. My grandmother went in the 80s, and it was just laying in bed, basically. That was terrible.
Oh, my God.
Now it's a lot better. I mean,
if
you have your cognitive, if you're with it, they're not bad at all. You have your own little apartment. There's a bunch of other older people there. Like your grandma was holding it up.
Yeah, exactly.
She was going from room to room.
She was living her best life. It was crazy.
Going from room to room, just like,
And that's another terrible thing that happens is like she's been wanting to die for 10 years.
Yeah.
And then, she'll call us, be like, I just want to die. And you have to be like, oh, yeah, I know, I get it.
Jeez.
That's
another thing. You can't do it.
You have to try to relate to them and stuff.
It's awful. It really is. I mean, my mother never wanted to be. She wasn't. She never got to that. Her body failed her.
Yeah.
It's an awful thing.
Yeah, not to be a bummer, but I'm dealing with that now.
Man,
my
I hate
parents
to hear
are dealing with that now.
Yeah,
so
what am I dealing with? I'm going to watch 3 movies. I don't watch these 3 movies.
I'd much rather be dealing with
BB
that.
Shea will be mad at me if I don't watch these. Yeah, no kidding. These 3 movies, I've got to see these.
Oh,
God.
I saw a picture of you and I mashed up or something like that.
Oh, you see that? My son did that.
Did he do that? Okay, so I didn't know if that was somebody else.
It's not really the two of us mashed up, but what he's got, people made that observation.
Yeah.
He's got some, have you seen it? Yeah, you see the picture?
I saw the picture.
It's disgusting, isn't it?
Is it like a picture that you could take of yourself and make you fatter or something like that?
Yeah, it's called, I believe the app is called Face App, and you take any picture and you can add weight to it. And hair or whatever, and people say it's like you and me mashed together.
You look like you manage a video store.
Don't I?
Yeah.
The thing about it, like this is a picture of me, and he just took it, and this is a recent picture.
Yeah.
And he just took it and added a bunch of weight to it and everything. You know what I thought to myself? If I wanted to now, he's got a picture of me. I'm probably 75 pounds heavier there than I actually am.
Yeah.
I could use that for a before and after photo.
There
if
you go.
Yes. But I'm saying it's so easy. Like what's real and what's not. If you've got some weight loss drug or something, you say, "Here's me before."
Look what I used to look like. Yeah,
I know. You could. I mean, it's so easy. That's talk about a deep fake or a.
That's so funny. Yeah.
Or a what do you call it? Artificial intelligence. That's all that is. You can just anything can be fake like that. It's crazy, isn't it? How you can do that. I read this too. You and I are in a meeting every week on the same day. What do you think? Here's the number. 27 minutes is how long people generally last in a meeting before they start to glaze over and not pay attention.
That sounds about right.
I think that's about right.
That's about right.
I think it's no mistake that our podcasts are roughly 27 to 32 minutes long.
It's the perfect amount of time.
That's what we do.
Yes.
Because after 27 minutes, you're slumped.
Exactly.
As my son would say,
yes.
I'm slumped.
And that meeting up there, I've been in it when it's 10 minutes. I've been in it when it's an hour and a half.
I know.
And
it's about the 27-minute mark. Yes. I think you start to fade away and fade down.
And typically when it goes longer, it's your fault. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I have a challenge on something.
Because there was one a couple years ago where you and another one were arguing for about 40 minutes.
About it.
Yeah,
I remember.
So.
I remember. But I tried to stop it. He kept on going.
That's true.
Let's face that fact, too. Yeah, sometimes, usually in meetings, I'll just let it go by and be like, okay, fine. But sometimes
when there's true injustice being done,
once in a while,
you've got to say something.
Once in a while, I'll say something. They call me the two-hump grump in there.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah.
If something's being said that I don't like, I'll fight back and say, wait a minute, it's not that. And then it usually turns into an argument. Because there are other people with strong opinions in there, too.
Yeah, but they kind of just let stuff go. Yeah, exactly.
But if recently, actually, the older I get, the more I tend to, for instance, with elections. Okay, we got an election today. It's happening. Like as this podcast is dropping.
Know that, no.
Yeah, you didn't know that.
No, I don't
it's Super Tuesday today.
Oh, today is Super Tuesday?
Yes, as it drops.
Yeah.
So we're recording this on Monday, but yes, it's Super Tuesday. So I generally, as I get older, just say, as I've told you, I think every politician is weak and worthless, and but for the most part, so I'm just like, okay, they're not going to help me. All they want to do is keep their job. Yeah. So I just look the other way and try to get through my day. Try to get through from year to year, do the best I can for my family. But really, you should pay attention to stuff and fight for what's right.
You should.
You?
Yes, you do.
It takes a lot of energy.
It does.
It takes a lot. I mean, I think most people are of the mind now. It's just like, God, just get me to tomorrow.
Yeah.
And let me raise my kids.
That's exactly. Yes.
But really, I guess I should have more respect for the people that out there are fighting for what they believe in, because
I have a buddy who kind of works in the political sphere, and he's gearing up for potential riots happening after this election.
It's possible if Trump loses and says it's unjust, there could be riots, and if Trump wins, there could be riots. It could be a difficult time. But here we are.
I think we should just go into a default non-presidential state for like a year, and then let some other people build up some. I think we should just cut it right now.
Might be really attackable though in that year, because if nobody's in charge, somebody's got to be in charge.
Well, who's really in charge?
Probably, the cabinet.
Exactly. I mean, is the president really in charge, or is he just the
current
face?
one?
I
don't know.
Who's really pulling the strings, man?
He's dating your grandmother.
Yeah, that's right.
Isn't he right down the hall from your grandmother?
That's right. I thought I saw I saw Air Force One parked out in front of there recently.
I thought that was the president. The light note to me this week, I loved you said, what's our top 5 going to be this week? I said, top 5 fiscal cities in America.
Yes.
You said, God, that's awful. That's awful. You're right. We're not doing that.
No.
Top 5. Now, I love this because I've discussed this before. Your favorite Little Debbie snack cakes. I looked at all of these.
Now I know you're in a weird position with food.
Well, but I do
these
now.
Days.
I grew up on Little Debbie snack cakes. Good. My mother used to buy these all the time, all different ones. Little Debbie, and I have commented on these before and gotten a lot of comment on them. What is your favorite? What are your 5 favorites? What's number 5?
Number 5 for me is the fudge round.
Outstanding.
I love the fudge round. See, I'm a big chocolate guy, so you're going to find a lot of chocolate on my list.
Yes.
And the fudge round, I think, is just safe. It's succulent.
The fudge round is, now what is it exactly?
So it's like the chocolate cake, ball, and then it's got a chocolate filling inside.
Yes.
And it's got the swiggly chocolate on the top of it as well. I know it. Yeah.
But Little Debbie snack cakes are not healthy.
No, they're not. They're not supposed to be, because you're supposed to enjoy things in life, Chris. You're supposed to have some fun every now and again with food. It doesn't all have to be serious, nasty stuff.
Do you know about when I went into the Moe's restaurant this weekend and had salad with me at Moe's? My friend the Diesel and I played in a pickleball tournament. And on the way back, he had to stop for dinner, and I had taken a salad in a cooler, as always. Yeah. And so we wound up eating at Moe's, and so I walked in, and I bought his because he drove, so we went through the line, and I bought everything for him, and they were like, what do you want? And I said, nothing, I have my bag. I have my
You're like a little kid.
With a cooler. Well, they thought it was like a strange object. Yeah. And I left it in the booth, and they were like, bomb. Is that a bomb? It's a real issue. It's really bad.
You're like a little kid who has to get McDonald's at a fancy restaurant.
Well,
you don't want
exactly.
anything on the menu.
So I took out I opened my bag cooler and I had my salad, my chicken. I made it right there at the table. And you talk about drawing some eyeballs.
Eyeballs on you.
Stupid.
Oh,
I know.
God, okay.
I like devil squares. Do you know those? They are
the devil squares.
similar.
Yeah, familiar with the devil
the
square.
cake but I like the vanilla icing. In the middle.
I got you.
That's number 5. What's your number 4?
Number 4 for me is the honey bun.
They are good.
I'm
not a big honey bun person.
Okay.
That's the worst item you can eat from Little Debbie, I'm convinced. It's a terrible, oh my God, those Cinnabon things, not a Little Debbie, but they're about as bad as it gets.
Now, I love the honey bun, and the iced honey bun is just as good, but I think for me, I just want the OG honey bun. It's just, oh man.
Do you know about when I cheated when I was in the 10th grade on this guy, he offered me, his name was Jonathan Rowland, and we had a history test.
Yeah.
And I knew it pretty well. And I was sitting in the desk in like 5th period. And he sat in the same desk in 6th period. Same class, but, I was out and he was coming in. So he said, I'll offer you $5 and a honey bun and it was a Little Debbie honey bun from the vending machine if you write all the answers on the desk so that he would be sitting there looking at them as when he came in.
You soiled your reputation for a Little Debbie snack cake.
Isn't that terrible? $5 and a Little Debbie snack cake.
I'd have done the same thing.
I did write them down.
I feel you. Yeah.
I shouldn't have done that. I should have had the temerity to stand up and say, this is wrong, and I will not do it. But I just...
Well, see, that was the thing. Is like for the $5, you were probably like, nah.
I know.
But then he goes, and a honey bun. You know what you got to do.
And he gave it to me, too. Yeah. And I said, well, mess up a few of these, Did
you get caught?
No. And I wrote it in pencil. I wrote all the answers in order. Boy, that was scary, though, because it's like, what if the teacher sees that?
Exactly.
He knows, and we both get zeros.
Because he has to come right in and cover it up, you know what I mean?
We both, and, we passed each other on the way in and out of the class in the hallway. And
did he, high-five you the money and then
yeah. Isn't that terrible?
I don't know.
Number 4, I put a zebra cake.
Love a zebra cake. That did not make my list. That was one of my honorable mentions.
Really?
Yes. I do love a zebra cake, though.
See, I like more vanilla, and it's a vanilla-y with the chocolate swirl on top. That's a great
Have you ever had
treat.
Did you try any of the... Who am I asking?
Yeah.
They made ice creams based on all these Little Debbie cakes.
I didn't try those. Yeah. Were they good?
Oh, yes. The zebra cake was great.
Was it good?
And all the other ones were really good. Yeah.
I bet they are. And, Little Debbie's a thing. I don't think that's a nationwide thing. I think that's only...
Is it not?
I think that's Southeast.
I think it's a nationwide thing. Yeah.
Maybe it is.
Maybe I could be wrong. I don't know.
She's Little Debbie. What did... she'd have diabetes by now, for sure.
Of course,
she was a real...
She ain't so little no more. No.
What's your number 3?
Number 3 for me is the devil cream.
Very good.
I know you said the devil cake.
Great
for me, the oblong with the icing in the middle.
That is good.
And now it gets you a little choked up because it's a little dry.
It's good,
if you eat 2 back to back, you got to chase it with some water. But it's totally worth it.
What about my number 3? Have you had these? The Star Crunch. Do you know the Star Crunch?
I do know the Star Crunch. I love the Star Crunch. I ate so many as a kid that I don't like them anymore.
Really?
Yes.
I think they're excellent.
If you would have asked me when I was 7, it probably would have been on my list. But
to me, it's like a standalone in the Little Debbie world because it's not a cake. It's it's like a crackle or a what do you call them? The not Mr. Goodbar, but what's the one? Nestle Crunch.
Yeah,
or 100 grand.
Sort of like 100
It's
grand.
like the 100 grand. That's what it because it's got caramel in it.
Yes,
it's like a large 100 grand.
I need to revisit the Star Crunch. I haven't had one in a long time.
The chocolate is not as good as the 100 grand.
Yeah,
but it's a good. I love that texture. I love that.
The crunchy. Yeah. That's a good one.
Very, very good. I like it very much. What's number 2?
My number 2 may be a little controversial. I put the Cosmic Brownie.
I don't know the Cosmic Brownie.
Cosmic Brownie, it's just a square. It's a brownie, and it's got colored candies on top of it.
Oh, really?
Yes, and it's just a brownie.
No, I don't know that.
It's good.
It's good?
And it tastes artificial, but it's a good artificial.
I don't mind artificial.
You know what I mean?
Things.
It's just a good, I love a brownie.
I think that's the reason I like Miss Debbie.
Yeah.
Because it
doesn't take itself too seriously.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Well, number 2 for me is classic, the oatmeal cookie. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I do is I eat around all the edges, then you have all that cream fill in the middle.
Yes.
Oh, so in fact, my son, who's home from school for spring break, just bought a bunch of. He's like, time for me to go to the store. He bought the oatmeal cookies.
Oh boy, yeah.
Now I don't have them, but he loves them.
So my number 1's the oatmeal cream pie.
I figured.
But have you ever? Of course not. Have you had the double-decker oatmeal cream pie?
No, I have not.
I just saw this at the store recently, and it's 500 calories for one cookie. One cookie is 500, but it's cookie cream, cookie cream, cookie. And
Oh
it's
my
like,
God.
And it's like that big.
Like the Big Mac.
Yeah, and it's like greasy and it's dense.
Well, that's what I like about
good.
The oatmeal cream cookie. To me, the greasiness of it is what makes it so
that's
good.
what's
And
so
the
good about
stick
it.
in your mouth. You know?
Yes,
They're
yes.
good. You shouldn't have too many of those, though.
I've had it once.
Yeah.
I just had to try it.
Well, I'm surprised this is not on your list. My number one is the Swiss cake roll.
Yeah, the Swiss cake roll didn't make my list. I like it.
I love it.
I love it.
Do you know what I like about it? It's its versatility.
Because you're right.
You can. I used to when I was a kid, like peel off that waxy chocolatey layer and eat that separately.
Yeah.
And then at some points I've unrolled it and eaten it that way. And then now I just take the whole thing, in stride.
So my Swiss roll is kind of like my Star Crunch.
Yeah.
I ate it so much.
We had oatmeal cookies and Swiss rolls the entire.
I would get home from school. I would go in my room and I would
Yeah.
eat them, and then I would just tuck the plastic and the wax in between the crevices of my chair.
Yeah.
And then that was kind of my afternoon, and I ate too much of
Little
them.
Miss Debbie, there's a lot of. It doesn't seem natural at all, does it?
No,
It's
it doesn't.
It's
No.
very like it leaves a film, like a residue,
Yes.
and it's plasticky tasting.
Yes.
It is.
But it's so damn good.
And those Swiss rolls, man, I love the cream in those Swiss rolls.
Yes.
And in the oatmeal, is it the same cream in the oatmeal cookie and the Swiss roll?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I'm not sure about that. but-
Honorable mention too, the Christmas tree cakes around
very
Christmas
good.
time.
Very
yes,
good.
Always got to get some of those when
Those
Christmas
are
comes
excellent.
around.
My mother used to buy those
Yeah.
at Christmas. Those were really
I had
good.
a dip that was based on that. Like you take like a
Yeah, I've
graham
heard of
cracker
that.
and like you
Yes.
dip it in, it tastes just like it. So
Yes,
good. Yeah.
I've seen that recipe. I
Yeah.
should make that.
I think all you got to do is just crunch them up and then
You
throw
do.
some cream,
I think
like
you do.
cream
And put it
cheese
in like
there.
is it cream cheese
I
and
think so.
sugar and that's exactly
Yeah.
right. I've seen
Yeah.
that recipe. Horrible for you.
And of course they all
Horrible.
are.
That's
but
awful.
The thing,
All right, let's see. We're 5 minutes past the point that everybody glazed over.
Sorry about that.
But for the Little Miss Debbie.
Well, hopefully the little Debbie thing kept you intrigued. Yeah.
I'll bring you my top 5 cities based on geography and fiscal reports 2024.
Sounds
Next
good to
week
me.
will be
Yeah.
your top 5.
Yeah.
So who are you voting for today for Super Tuesday?
I didn't even know it was an election day today. Honest to God. So
It's good that you pay attention.
I didn't even know elections were on Tuesday.
You didn't know elections were
No,
on
I
Tuesday?
didn't. No.
Have you seen all the Republicans candidate running on the TV?
No.
You haven't seen these
No, I
commercials?
don't. I couldn't name one.
You know, the whole thing, they're all Republicans, and they all say, Trump loves me, and the other guy, Trump doesn't like.
Yeah.
And they all literally say the same thing. It's like battling to go and hang on Trump for a while. It really is.
And I think that's got people nervous. I think the fact that you have to get his endorsement has got people nervous. He's not even the president.
No, I don't believe Trump can win the presidency, but I'm at odds. I think he's got a 43% that will never leave him, but no more than that.
I think he will win.
You think he will win
I
the
will.
presidency?
I do think he will win. Yes.
I do not believe he will win.
It doesn't matter to me who wins, but I feel like he's going to win.
I feel like Biden will beat him.
Okay.
We shall see. Well, we'll do our political commentary
of
as
course.
we get closer to November.
Yeah, November comes, we'll get all into that.
Did you know that elections were held in November? Do you know this?
No.
No. I'll remind you.
Thank you.
In
I appreciate
October,
it.
we'll start doing that.
Yeah.
That's the Square of the Round. Another fantastic edition of the Square of the Round. Listen wherever you get your podcast, and we'll see you next week.